Few figures in English history loom as large as King Henry VIII. His reign and persona have left an indelible mark on the annals of history, making him one of the most iconic monarchs of all time. He is instantly recognizable, his image cemented in our minds, a powerful, imposing figure with a larger-than-life presence. His portraits, often depicting him in elaborate clothing and regal attire, reflect his authority and grandeur. But Henry's story is much more than just his 6 wives. While his marriages are often the most talked about aspect of his life, they are merely one chapter in a much larger narrative. He was a king of contradictions, a devout Catholic who broke with Rome, a loving husband who disposed of his wives, a man of contradictions who shaped England forever. His decisions, often driven by personal desires, had far-reaching consequences for the entire nation. Henry's reign, from 1509 to 1547, was a time of immense change. It was a period marked by significant political, religious, and social transformations that would redefine England's place in the world. England transitioned from a medieval kingdom to a burgeoning European power. Under Henry's rule, the nation began to assert itself on the international stage, laying the groundwork for future expansion and influence. At the heart of this transformation stood Henry, a king determined to leave his mark. His vision and ambition drove many of the changes that would come to define his reign. He wasn't afraid to make waves, whether it was through his bold decisions or his willingness to confront established norms. Henry was a ruler who was always ready to take risks. He wasn't afraid to challenge the status quo. His actions often put him at odds with powerful institutions and figures, but he remained steadfast in his pursuit of his goals. His story is a complex tapestry of political intrigue, religious upheaval, and personal drama. The events of his reign were often intertwined with his personal life, making his story all the more compelling. Henry's quest for a male heir, his break from the Roman Catholic Church, and his tumultuous love life continue to fascinate us centuries later. These elements of his life not only shaped his reign, but also had lasting impacts on the course of English history. He remains a figure of endless fascination, embodying the ambition, ruthlessness, and grandeur of the Tudor dynasty. His legacy, filled with both triumphs and controversies, ensures that he will always be remembered as one of England's most formidable kings. Born in 1491 in the Palace of Placentia in Greenwich, Henry was not initially destined for the throne. As the second son of Henry VII, the first Tudor king, his path seemed set for a life of relative obscurity. His father, Henry VII, had established the Tudor dynasty after a tumultuous period of civil war known as the Wars of the Roses. Henry's older brother, Arthur, Prince of Wales, was the one meant to rule and carry on the Tudor legacy. Young Henry, however, was not without his own talents. He was charming, athletic, and intelligent, excelling in sports, music, and religious studies. He embodied the ideal of a Renaissance prince. However, fate had other plans for the young prince. In 1502, Arthur died unexpectedly, leaving a void in the Tudor succession. This tragic event thrust Henry into the role of heir apparent, a position he had never anticipated. The weight of the Tudor dynasty now rested on his young shoulders, a heavy burden for someone so young. At the tender age of 17, Henry ascended to the throne, becoming King Henry VIII. He was full of ambition and eager to prove himself as a capable and strong ruler. His father had left him a stable and prosperous kingdom, free from the immediate threats of rebellion or invasion. Henry inherited a full treasury, a rare and valuable asset for any new monarch. The realm was relatively peaceful, allowing him the opportunity to focus on governance and reform. This provided a strong foundation for his reign, one that he was determined to build upon. Henry was resolute in his desire to enhance his father's legacy, aiming to be remembered as a great and transformative king. He sought to secure his own place in history through his actions and decisions, shaping the future of England for generations to come. One of the defining aspects of Henry's reign was his series of 6 marriages. His first wife, Catherine of Aragon, was a Spanish princess. They married in 1509, a strategic alliance to strengthen England's position in Europe. Catherine was a devout Catholic, and their early years were marked by love and mutual respect. They had one surviving child, a daughter named Mary. However, Henry desperately desired a male heir to secure the Tudor succession. This desire, coupled with his growing infatuation with Anne Boleyn, a lady-in-waiting at court, would have profound consequences. In the early years of his reign, Henry was a staunch defender of the Catholic Church. He even earned the title Defender of the Faith from the Pope for his writings against Martin Luther and the Protestant Reformation. Henry saw himself as a pious king upholding the traditional religious order. He engaged in theological debates, wrote treatises, and actively opposed Protestant teachings. He believed in the authority of the Pope and the sanctity of the Catholic Church. Little did he know his own actions would soon shatter this unity. Section 5. Anne Boleyn, Love, Lust, and the Seeds of Reformation. Anne Boleyn was different from any woman Henry had encountered. She was witty, intelligent, and ambitious. She refused to be just another royal mistress. She wanted to be queen. Henry, captivated by Anne, became obsessed with securing an annulment from Catherine. This ignited a chain reaction that would forever alter England's religious landscape. Henry's desire for Anne, coupled with his frustration over the lack of a male heir, led him to question the authority of the Pope. Section 6. Breaking with Rome, the English Reformation begins. The Pope's refusal to grant Henry an annulment from Catherine pushed him to take drastic measures. He broke with the Roman Catholic Church and declared himself the supreme head of the Church of England in 1534. This act, fueled by personal desire and political calculation, had far-reaching consequences. Monasteries were dissolved, their wealth confiscated by the crown. Religious life in England was turned upside down. Henry's actions ushered in an era of religious turmoil and change that would continue to shape England for centuries. Section 7. A throne drenched in tears, the wives of Henry VIII. Anne Boleyn's triumph was short-lived. When she failed to produce a male heir, she too fell victim to Henry's ruthlessness. She was executed on charges of treason in 1536. Henry's quest for a male heir and his fickle heart led him to marry 4 more times. Jane Seymour, his third wife, finally gave him a son, the future Edward VI. However, she died shortly after childbirth. Anne of Cleves, his 4th wife, lasted only a few months before their marriage was annulled. Catherine Howard, his 5th wife, was executed for alleged adultery. Finally, Catherine Parr, his 6th wife, outlived him. Section 8. More than just a womanizer, Henry's political acumen. While his love life dominates popular narratives, Henry was also a shrewd politician. He strengthened the English navy, expanded royal power, and unified England and Wales. He was a skilled diplomat, playing European powers against each other to England's advantage. He invested heavily in the arts and culture, leaving behind a legacy of magnificent palaces and a flourishing courtly life. He was a complex and often contradictory figure, capable of both great cruelty and astute leadership. Section 9. Legacy of a King. The impact of Henry VIII's reign. Henry VIII's reign left an indelible mark on England. His break with Rome and the establishment of the Church of England had a profound impact on English society, culture, and identity. His dissolution of the monasteries transformed the religious and economic landscape of the country. His pursuit of a male heir led to decades of religious and political instability. His reign marked the end of the medieval world and the beginning of the English Renaissance. His legacy is complex and multifaceted, a mixture of tyranny and progress. Section 10. A figure of fascination. Henry VIII in popular culture. Centuries after his death, Henry VIII continues to captivate our imaginations. He is a subject of countless books, films, television shows, and plays. His story, full of drama, intrigue, and larger-than-life characters, resonates with audiences even today. And from Shakespeare's play to Hilary Mantel's award-winning novels, Henry VIII remains an enduring icon of English history. He represents a pivotal moment in time, a period of upheaval and transformation that continues to fascinate and intrigue us. Section 11. Conclusion, the enduring enigma of Henry VIII. Henry VIII was a king of contradictions, a man of both great charm and ruthless ambition. His reign was marked by a series of dramatic events that forever altered the course of English history. He was a loving husband who disposed of his wives, a devout Catholic who broke with Rome, a man who craved stability yet brought about immense change, His 6 marriages were not just personal choices, but political maneuvers that had far-reaching consequences. His legacy is complex and multifaceted, a mixture of tyranny and progress. The English Reformation, initiated under his rule, led to the establishment of the Church of England, a monumental shift that still resonates today. He was a king who reshaped England in his own image, leaving an indelible mark on his country's history, religion, and identity. His court was a center of culture and learning. Attracting scholars, artists, and thinkers from across Europe, he remains an enigma, a figure who continues to fascinate and provoke debate centuries after his death. Scholars and historians still grapple with understanding the full impact of his reign. Henry VIII's life and reign serve as a reminder that history is not black and white, but rather a complex tapestry, woven with threads of ambition, love, cruelty, and power. His story is a testament to the enduring complexity of human nature and the far-reaching consequences of leadership.